Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Adam. Thank you for the mention of Canal and River Trust. Much appreciated. We appreciate the partnership. Thank you, Professor Smith, as well. I think he's gone. So, good morning, everybody. Really lovely to be here. I will introduce myself shortly, but firstly, can I just say it's a great privilege to be here and to share with you what we're doing in terms of Canal and River Trust, as well as Leicester and Leicestershire Enterprise Partnership, in order to serve some of the things. You heard a couple of points Councillor Adam mentioned about our strengths, diversity. Professor Smith mentioned about the key themes around health, well-being, education, sustainability. What I'll try to do over the next 10 minutes, I will finish quickly, don't get worried by this. Next 10 minutes is to give you a flavor of what these two organizations are doing so that you're aware of what we're doing, and we would love to collaborate with different organizations to achieve even more. And I welcome the opportunity from CAUSE. The idea is, as Kamla alluded, a lot of these things are going on, but in individual organizations and through CAUSE, we can bring them together. So, let me very quickly, I'll split this talk into three different sections. I'll do a very brief introduction of myself. I will very briefly share with you what Canal and River Trust is and what LLEP is. And then I'll give you very few examples. I'm afraid I could talk days and days about what wonderful stuff we do. But I will give you some flavor of it. And then I've got colleagues here from Canal and River Trust. They may go into a lot more detail. And I will be around as well for the rest of the day. So, very quickly about myself. I'm not going to spend too much time. Kamla is already looking worried. I'm Anil Majithia. In addition to other roles, I chair the Canal and River Trust East Midlands Regional Advisory Board. I am co-chair of Leicester-Leicestershire Enterprise Partnership, and I also sit on various boards such as NHS, George Eliot Hospital. I chair George Eliot Charity, and I'm also on the Board of Governors of North Warwickshire, South Leicestershire College. And that's it. You've heard enough about me. I'm going to talk about the two organizations that I'm here to talk about. So, Canal and River Trust is waterways and wellbeing charity, which many people may not have heard about before today. It actually looks after and cares for 2,000 miles of 200 years old networks of canals, rivers, reservoirs, and docks. Over the last 4 years, it's been transforming itself from just being the waterways organization to waterways and well-being organization. Right? We recognize that with ever-increasing rates of obesity, diabetes, and other health conditions, and the rising level of stress, anxiety, and other mental health conditions in the UK, Trust believes waterways are uniquely placed to make significant contributions to improving health and the well-being of the nation. You will have heard, those of you who know about Canal and River Trust will have heard of a motto, life's better by water. I'll talk more about that later. So that's Canal and River Trust. Moving on to what LLEP does. So LLEP stands for Leicester and Leicestershire Enterprise Partnership. It's a body consisting of board members from private sector, public sector, local authorities, and their focus is on strategic priorities and investments around economic growth of Leicester and Leicestershire. Again, what I'll try and do is share with you some of the examples of what LLEP has been doing in addition to what Canal and River Trust has been doing. Both of these organizations have one thing in common. They collaborate with other organizations and really have collaborated, and what I'll be telling you about is actually real-life examples of what's been achieved, right? And the whole purpose around this is to help people of Leicester, Leicestershire to improve their lives. That's from the Canal and River perspective around the health, well-being, and also from the LLEP perspective to improve their livelihood through development of local businesses, infrastructures, and other things within Leicester and Leicestershire. Again, conscious of time, so let me move on to some examples of what we do. If you look at Leicester's population, these figures I'm going to give you are maybe a little bit out of date. I don't think they're the latest census, but approximately we have 330,000 people living in Leicester. Out of that, around 118,000 people live within 1 kilometre of waterways of some sort, whether it's the canal, whether it's the river. 46% of those living near the waterways are from ethnic minorities, BAME communities. 17% of those suffer from long-term health issues, obesity, diabetes. And last one, I started with that question and I did get few nods, was only more than 60% have little or no awareness of the fact of what Canal and River Trust does, that it exists, and how it can help people's active living. I am really tempted to ask how many of you here hadn't known about Canal and River Trust before today, but no, I'm not going to embarrass anybody. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to move on. So you know, from Canal and River Trust, we've done loads of research, and we know that spending time by waterways can help us all feel happier and healthier, and I'm sure all of you who spent some time near the water have experienced that. Since 2019, the focus has been to encourage the diverse communities of Leicester and engage with us to enjoy the active living. We didn't have much of an engagement, but over the past 4 or 5 years, with a lot of efforts from our wonderful teams, we've started getting good community engagement, and the whole idea is really to tackle health inequalities and support the prevention and social prescribing agenda for local population. You know, overall, we'd like people to get near the water, in the water, stay healthy, keep healthy, and make the most of the wonderful assets that we all own. So let me very quickly cover the 4 pillars of Canal and River Trust improvement program that we have been delivering in Leicester and Leicestershire. This has made significant difference. The 4 key pillars are infrastructure, connectivity, and environment improvements, and Councillor Adam Clark mentioned that because we worked with Leicester City Council, LLEP, Environment Agency, on a £750,000 project to revamp the Leicester Canal towpaths, making it easier for people of North Leicester to enjoy the health and well-being benefits spending time by the water. The second pillar is around improving the awareness and perception of waterways. So through our community routes, a lot of work has been done, loads of different activities to make people aware of what Canal and River Trust are, what we do, and how we can help volunteers and community groups to live an active lifestyle. I'm sure Ebe in her thing will talk more about it later, so I will not be stealing your thunder. Don't worry about it. The third pillar, again, this is something very close to my heart, and if you look at the organizations I'm involved in, it's around health, well-being, and education. So the third pillar is really improving people's physical and mental health by providing activities on waterways. The activities like canoeing, paddleboarding, and again, I'm not going to talk too much because I don't want to risk stealing Abby's thunder. But, you know, we have launched Leicester Waterways Partnership, which has been, the Nottingham Waterways Partnership is very successful, and we aim to do that in Leicester, so we've launched that. And we've also successfully established a social prescribing and wellbeing program in South Leicestershire District Councils. The way social prescribing works is that a clinician or somebody will actually prescribe somebody, maybe they're suffering from, is it mental health, is it obesity, is it diabetes, and the clinician, I'll call it for that sake, may say, you will benefit from a bit of physical activities, a bit of exercise. They are then prescribed to Canal and River Trust, and we have groups that will hold sessions, right? So people will get a chance to do canoeing, will get a chance to go pedal boarding. I won't recommend that one. I tried that myself. And it is absolutely wonderful. And the feedback we get with people who've actually been recommended or prescribed is very, very positive. And the final pillar, again, this was alluded by various speakers before me, is around supporting tourism and visitor economy through improving places. So some of you will have heard of Foxton Lock, for example. It's one of our visitor attractions that we would like to have people visit more. So all in all, Canal and River Trust is working with all local authorities, various private companies, community groups, to make the most of the wonderful assets that we have. And I am sure Abby will be providing you a lot more detailed examples, so I'm not going into any of that. I will very swiftly move on to some of the examples of what LEP has done. And we work, again, LEP works in collaboration with local authorities, city council, county councils, businesses, higher further education institutions. And we in Leicester, Leicestershire, are really, really lucky to have 3 top universities. And we should not underestimate the contributions they make, the De Montfort University, Loughborough University, and Leicester University, in case people were not aware of it. There are some wonderful projects that are being done through LEP as well. I think it was Professor Smith who mentioned about the poverty. He talked about the culture poverty. He talked about the material poverty. One more thing I'm going to talk about is actual digital poverty. We recognized very, very clearly during pandemic that there were a group of population that were not technically able to get onto that, and that technical poverty is a real issue for that. So as a part of LEP, there was a £300,000 project that was commissioned with voluntary groups such as Reaching People, WEA, Highfield Centre, and the scheme was really to target over 1,200 people that will benefit from learning basic digital skills so that they can get into their Teams or Zooms. Also to have access on devices as well. We don't forget our obligations around sustainability and green stuff. So we actually had a project, part of that project was with Reaching People to recycle devices to reduce e-waste. In terms of business, we're part of Microsoft Get On network, and we played an active role in it. We cascade free employability resources to local businesses, and over 900 local businesses have accessed those resources from Microsoft. I'm getting there, bear with me. I don't believe anybody would have missed that. Working in collaboration again with the councils, you will have seen the wonderful changes that were done to the St. Margaret's Gateway and the St. Margaret's bus station. As part of LEP's involvement, the council involvement, it was over £10 million project. It is just, we should really be proud of that as Leicester people. It's the first carbon neutral bus station, completely with solar panels, air source, heat pumps, and LED lighting and electrical charging points for the buses. And this has also increased capacity for national and regional bus services, bringing in people and bringing in investments for us. One final thing I'll talk about is around LEP Careers Hub, because I talked about the education and what we do around education. So LEP Careers Hub works with schools, colleges, and employers to help every young person find their best next step. Few highlights around there. We have 80+ enterprise advisors supporting the schools and colleges with their time and expertise. So these are business people who will go into school, coach, mentor the students, and where they're going. We have 91 schools and colleges within Leicester, Leicestershire working towards meeting 8 Gatsby benchmark for good career guidance, creating a world-class career education program. Hopefully, I have given you a brief flavor of what the organizations such as Canal and River Trust, LEP do to bring all these things together. We heard the aspects earlier on. And I can talk a lot more about it, but it's all about collaboration, it's about working together, and it's all about delivering a major change for better for people in Leicester, Leicestershire, through business, through health, through well-being. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm done. Thank you.